Hi guys, it's Mike from my private library again. So I finally finished Thud by Terry Pratchett. This is the first book I finished of the new year. So, I mean, it's only the third, almost the fourth. So, hopefully that's kind of sets me on a good pace for the rest of the year. But yeah, so just a quick review. This is the seventh, eighth something book in the City Watch series of Discworld, following the City Watch, and I liked it. It kind of reminds me of Jingo in that it's kind of a convoluted plot. You really don't know exactly what's going on until a good chunk of the way through the book. Um, the basic plot is that um, there's been throughout all the Discworld books. One of the things that goes on in the background of the books is the tension between dwarves and trolls. And in this book, the tensions kind of come to a heat. There's this, they call them the deep downer dwarves, who are very set in the beliefs, like the ancient ways of dwarves. And there's this one dwarf called Ham, Ham Crusher, who's sort of like the spokesman for all these deep downers who live in the city. And he gets killed, and it's sort of made to look like a troll's done it. He's whacked over the head, and there's a troll club left nearby. And he's been spouting all this stuff about how, trolls are abominations and whatnot. So when he gets killed, people around the city start to think about rioting, dwarf versus troll, blah, blah, blah. And you have the City Watch caught up in between it, trying to stop it, placate everybody. And it turns into a sort of mystery. But like I said, it's sort of like Jingo, where, a crime happens, and then for Sam Vimes, politics gets in the way. So, it's not bad. I liked it. I honestly, every time I read a Discworld book or review one, I say I like it. I like it more than the previous one. I like it about the same as this other one, blah, blah, blah. The truth is, as far as I'm concerned, and apparently as far as the internet is concerned, there is no bad Discworld book. Everything Terry Pratchett has come out with is apparently golden. This is the eighth or ninth book I've read in the Discworld series, and I've also read Good Omens with Neil Gaiman, and I've loved every single one. So while I may have some I love more than others, I've never been dissatisfied by one, and Thud is just another example of that. So yeah, interesting. You get everything you would out of a good City Watch book. You get Vimes being all snarky and cynical. You get a couple funny bits with Colin or Cologne and Knobs, and you usually get a couple new characters. In this one, we have a vampire added to the watch, and we have a nice little scene with he's a councilman who winds up getting into the watch, and it's a lot of fun. New trolls, and what happens, I like every City Watch book so far, they kind of add something to the Discworld lore, like, Guards. You had the existence of dragons and magic. Jingo, in the aftermath, you had um, more watches appearing throughout the hub, and you had the Clax towers installed. And it's like each one they add something. So, Feet of Clay, you had the golems, where they stand, are they actually people, residents? Um, Fifth Elephant, you had the whole thing with Uberwald's dwarves, the Low King. And Thud kind of adds a little more to Fifth Elephant with relationship between dwarves and trolls, and by the end of it, it kind of shifts how the relationship is in the entire world. So I'd like to read more books that maybe have taken place after this, where I kind of see whether the relationship has changed more than just a little bit. But yeah, I know right now after this, the only book I'm planning on reading is Snuff, which so far is the last book that's strictly following the City Watch. But I have had people recommend me other books, some which involve the Night Watch, like sort of in a background capacity, or where they just make little cameo appearances. But I think some of them, they weren't standalone. You kind of had to read other ones to get into them. think one of them is called Witches. I want to say maybe Hogfather and Going Postal. Either that or those are just ones that I've heard about and have had recommended to me. So yeah, even though I'm kind of getting close to the end of all the Night Watch books, I definitely don't want to stop reading Discworld just because it is such a fun series. I can't recommend it enough to people who love fantasy and who just want to maybe give it a shot. I always point out Guards as a great starting book. I think that's the one book that's pointed out to everybody as a great starting book, and I certainly loved it. So yeah, Thud, lots of fun as usual. I can't wait to grab a copy of Snuff and see what's going on with the City Watch now, and then, maybe waiting, see if there's going to be something in the future, and then I'll take a look at what other Discworld books there are out there, figure out which one I want to read next. You guys are always feel free to suggest me some, because there are, about 30 years worth of books, so everybody has their favorites, and I definitely want to hear what yours are. So if you want to leave me a comment or send me an ask on the blog, let me know, and I'll definitely add them to my list. So yeah, first book review 2015. Next up, I just started The Goldfinch, just a couple pages in, but I'm very excited. Award winner, I've heard a lot of hype about it. So hopefully, it is kind of a big book. It's almost 800 pages. So hopefully it won't be more than a couple weeks before I have a video up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, subscribe, check out the Tumblr, myprivatelibrary.tumblr.com, and I'll see you guys later.